Is this putting more power in the hands of the players?
It could, but if we know ask for fully guaranteed money, we definitely know they'll be getting more. They'll be wealthier. But listen, players have always had the power, right? The NFL, the NBA, MLB, they don't exist without players, right? You need players. When we went through that, was one of the first things you saw the NFL do: apologize to black players because they know it's the talent that feeds the ecosystem of sports, right? I mean, that's what it is. People want to see the talent. They want to see the players. They come in the NFL, yeah, you could say the name and the logo, but guess what? It's not only about that. They want to see the performances and the players. And so they've always had the power. It's about using the leverage, and it's about using that power, using the data that the the National Football Players Association provides those agents, that provides the players, and say, take this data back to the team and tell them why you deserve a fully guaranteed deal. I mean, that's the type of stuff that they need to do. And so it's not going to shift the power until the players start using their leverage. And if that happens, then we'll see if the ecosystem changes. Some people say it's not going to happen because the players, the trickle down won't get that far, right? Players are still going to take upfront money because when you have a zero money in your pocket and an NFL team is saying take the $100 million now or take the 180 or 180 million dollars in 10 years, there's a lot of people that might say, I'll take the $100 million now because they just want the money now. They don't want to wait over that period of 10 years. You'll still have people do that. And then you'll have guys who maybe don't need it. Kirk Cousins was one of them. He saved, he didn't spend, and he went out, he played the market, and he got a fully guaranteed contract. Also in that article, Mike Tannenbaum says, right, guys who bet on themselves and hit the free agent market in the NFL seem to get better deals.
I feel like going from 0 to 100 million, that could be pretty tempting
Yeah,
for a lot
it
of
is.
people here.
Yeah.
But what has the response been from both players and owners to Deshaun Watson's deal?
I'll be going on the NFL owners meeting in December, and I'll be curious because this is all new. The NFL Players Association, they filed a grievance thinking that there's some conspiracy as to why more fully guaranteed deals don't exist. So I want to monitor that to see what happens and see what the reaction is. It's so new. Deshaun Watson just got this money in March. The NFL Players Association filed in October. It's still so new, something to monitor. And that's what I said. As Deshaun Watson comes back to the field, his contract, not only his play, will be at the topic of discussion when it comes to NFL business. And again, to see what changes from an economic standpoint. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight. You're not going to see the results next year. It's something to monitor over from now to the end of the decade to see if anything changes. And by the end of the decade, if we see more fully guaranteed deals, way more than we see now.
You know, one player that must be watching this closely is Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, who was the 2019 NFL MVP. So do you think that this is going to change or impact his negotiations at all?
So far, it already is, right? They haven't agreed to a deal. And Lamar Jackson, if you believe reports and local reports coming out of Baltimore, has asked for fully money. He has every right to, and will he get that fully guaranteed money? Who knows, right? Will he at the end of this season say, you know what? I don't want all fully guaranteed money. I'll take this portion because I also want to make sure that my team, and this is another factor for Brittany, has enough money to put the guys around me that I need to win. And if he wins, that's going to mean more endorsement money. So you'll make it up somewhat. Or does he stand firm and say, I want the fully guaranteed money? That impacts things. It impacts budgets. And you may not have the roster around him that he probably wants or he probably needs to win, but he gets his fully guaranteed money. So it's something to pay attention to. But right now he's saying that's what he wants. The Baltimore Ravens saying, hey, well, we don't do business like that. We'll see who comes in and we'll see who budges.
Obviously, football is an extremely physical sport. So why can't the NFL fully guarantee every player?
Too much money. Too much money. I mean, you're talking over 2,000 players that you have to fully guarantee. And remember, the injury rate in football is so those guys, 2,000, you have a roster of 50 plus players, right? And then if 3 or 4 guys go down to injury, which we always see, season injury, those contracts are guaranteed. And then you got to go and replace those guaranteed contracts. Too much money. Insurance would be too much to maintain, and teams wouldn't make enough money. So, you can't have too many fully guaranteed deals because also, right, what people don't remember or they don't take into consideration because it's not necessarily mentioned all the time. And that is once you fully guarantee a player contract in the NFL, that team has to then take that money and put it in escrow every dime. Not too many people can afford to do that. Jimmy Haslam could with the Browns, right? But not too many other NFL owners could possibly afford to take a significant amount of money and put it in escrow to support it. And so I don't think you'll ever see every player fully guaranteed, but I think you'll start to see more and more again, especially as name, image, and likeness continues to accelerate in the college space.
You said Jimmy Haswell was positioned that he could put that money in escrow. So are some teams better positioned than others to fully guarantee players?
Yeah, they are. And it becomes a game of the have and the have nots, right? And this is why Jimmy used the fully guaranteed clause, because anybody else got Deshaun Watson right now? Absolutely not. The Browns do. Why? Because they fully guaranteed it. A rare thing that teams fully guarantee contracts. But when you're desperate, as the Browns said, as it appears that they were in this situation, when you're desperate, these are the things that you have to do to go out and win. And if the Browns win 2 or 3 Super Bowls in the next 5 years, right, that contract perhaps looks cheap because the benefit that you'll get from that will far exceed what you're probably paying Deshaun Watson. But if it doesn't work and he doesn't win, what does it mean? And what does it mean for other deals going forward? I mean, we'll see.
I do want to talk about going forward. So what do fully guaranteed deals look like for the NFL as a business long term?
Again, it's still too early to tell because you want to see if, Lamar Jackson is able to get a fully guaranteed deal. And if he's able to get a fully guaranteed deal, right, that is definitely going to change the dynamics because you have other young quarterbacks, other young players, a generational star in Dallas and Michael Parsons who might also try to use that and try to lure fully guaranteed deals themselves. And so, it could mess with the economics because, the NFL operates on a hard salary cap. And so maybe cost certainty, for some teams, it gets an impact a little bit. But it's still too early to tell. This is just something to monitor to see exactly how the landscape could shift. Again, with a lot of pieces, have to play their role to see if we're on the verge of seeing more fully guaranteed deals throughout the NFL. I think, yes, over time, but still too early to predict how many you'll see change.
Well, we will definitely be keeping our eye on this. Jabari Young, thank you so much.
Thanks, Brittany.